I'm Ashton from the Crypto Coin Show, and today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Rupert Barksfield, CEO of VALA, on the show once again. Rupert, it is great to see you again.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me, and it's great to see you again.
Yeah, it's been over the past few years, we've had a few videos on various topics. I know you've been involved with everything in the industry, from insurance, building up the Solana community, and now I'm excited to dive into more community stuff. Meme coins especially, I feel like have gained a lot of legitimacy in traction over the last year. Not only retail communities coming into the space, but more institutions, ETFs, validity of the industry overall. But I feel like meme coins and retail communities are still sort of underrated in what people, there's that saying that once the community gets together and bands together with a common goal, they're unstoppable. And I feel like that's something that maybe you and your team at VALA have noticed and are helping build a platform to achieve some of those goals. So I would love to dive into your latest project today, and maybe we can just start off from a high level on what you and your team have been working on VALA, and why it's a great time to be building a project like this right now.
Sure. So, I mean, look, thanks again for having me back on the show. If anybody watching wants to go back and look at some of the previous videos that we worked on, you can see that way back when we first connected, I was working in the DeFi insurance space and working on a project called Amulet, which is heavily in the Solana ecosystem. And at that stage, DeFi was pumping a lot. It was going, is doing particularly well. And I think in certain sectors, it's still doing very, very well. But one of the big things that we've identified in the industry in general is that actually one of the biggest challenges we still face today is getting people over that first hurdle. How do we actually get more people into the industry? Like right now, after we went through the kind of the AI boom, of which I think we're still kind of going through, a lot of the focus has been taken away from the crypto industry and blockchain and Web3, and it's almost seen as a bit of a footnote in tech almost. But then, whenever the numbers start to rise and things start to rally, suddenly we have this big, massive inflow of people. So how do we change that? How do we change it from like a sudden inflow, but like a consistent knowledge sharing and a consistent opportunity to get more and more people into the industry? And that's really where VALA steps in, and where we are wanting to try and make a difference in the kind of partly the educational space, partly the visibility space, partly the ease of use space, and get as many people into the industry as possible. So that's where we're stretching our legs as a team and kind of starting off. But I suppose actually, if it's okay with you, I'd like to kind of look at that as a bit of a problem. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that sounds great. And I think it's a great point that you mentioned about, DeFi, it has great value in the industry, but it can be very technical and very confusing. And there's so many other things that you could start with to get new people involved so they don't feel over their head. And I feel like you're hitting the nail right on the head, where hey, there's other community things and visibility of like, hey, dip your toe in here or learn in a way that people are used to. Like, they're used to retail. It's like used to sort of looking at their social platform or scrolling. How can we incorporate the principles of blockchain into that? So yeah, I would love to hear more.
Well, that you hit the head nail right on the head. We've got the 80% of Gen Z, millennials, even broader aspect than that, getting their financial advice, their financial knowledge, it's actually coming from short form video. And that either comes from YouTube, it comes from Instagram, it comes from TikTok, depending on which kind of generation you sit in. And I even put myself into this. Like, I now live in Lisbon, right? And so before coming and moving here, I was exploring the tax systems and the opportunities that I could provide to myself and my family. And I did that primarily through YouTube. Now, of course, I followed up with accountants and, other research on top of that. But, my main source was video because it's the easiest thing for me to digest. And I'm not alone in this. Like everybody else is in that same nodes. But when it comes to crypto, you've got a couple of problems. One, crypto content on traditional social platforms is really dampened down. Like, it's not prioritized amongst other content that's out there. And look, there's a lot of content, and I can understand that, but it's actively dampened, and we know this from the statistics around it, and the other articles that have been published around this. And then the other problem you've got is, like, when you learn about a piece of knowledge, the steps in which to execute on that are huge. So let's take a simple bit of knowledge. Let's say everybody's talking about GameStop and GME, and we saw this happening during COVID, right? They're talking about it, but how do you actually buy the asset? You then have to learn and research, Robinhood, Free Trade, Revolut, whatever the tool is that you want to use to actually buy the asset. Then you're presented with a whole bunch of charts and like limit orders and market orders and all this extra bits of stuff that you had to learn on top. And not only that, you've also got KYC and other elements you have to step through in order to get to the actual point of buying. Now, you compound that by 10 in crypto with wallets and pub.fun and all of these other tools in which we are expected to just go out and learn. And of course, do your own research, because that's so easy. You haven't got anybody conflicting views. It's so complicated as a system to just get off the steps and get into. So what VALA is doing is we simplify the whole chain. We provide you your information and the easy route to buy, sell, stake, tip, do whatever you want to do with the asset or for the creator, all in the one platform right there on the video. So simply put, if I'm watching a video about Bonk and I like what Bonk are doing, and perhaps I want to stake Bonk, and I have a little bit in my wallet there, which we've helped you create and perhaps buy in a previous interaction with VALA, you can just watch that video, go, yeah, that's cool, click, done. And it's all done in the background. Everything is abstracted away. And that is the core principle of everything that we're doing. Simplicity is key, user interaction, to make it easy for people to learn and interact. And then there are other stages beyond that of which they can get deeper into the industry. But that's the core of VALA.
Yeah, no, that's great intro, Rupert. And I'd love to know more. And I'm super excited for something like this, because I feel like people are like addicted to short form video, but and some people are also addicted to crypto. But if you can combine them, then that saves a lot of steps, because there's so much to learn, as you said, and there's so many processes, as you said, like you hear about GME, but how do you go through the 10 steps of research just to actually be able to own it? So could you walk me through how that would work on VALA? So say I go to the platform, or I go to the app, I start watching videos, and then I'm able to interact in a financial sense with the video.
So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, it actually really starts with the content creator, and then we'll flip over to the user through that process. But as a content creator, I'm creating content for TikTok or Twitter or wherever. Simply, I create my account on VALA and I upload my content there, and I tag the assets that I'm talking about inside the content, and then I click share, and I share it out to my Instagram, to my TikTok, and all the other platforms. And from there, users are able to easily see that is VALA content. It's got a little VALA post roll on the video. It's got a little link back to the content page on VALA. And so as a user, for the first time, if I've never even touched VALA, I see my favorite content creator talking about, let's go back to the example, Bonk, right? And maybe they have been employed by Bonk to talk about them. Maybe they're just excited about what Bonk's doing. They're part of the community. Maybe they've got a piece of information they want to share and they want to value and benefit off that. But for whatever the reason is that they're creating the content, they've decided to upload it to VALA and share it, and you've seen it. You then just simply click on the link and you get taken straight over to the VALA app. Now, of course, very first time that you interacted with the app, if you have a Web3 wallet, you can attach that and you can go through in an anonymous style fashion like we're used to. But if you haven't got a Web3 wallet, it's just your first interaction with crypto. You create an account, a wallet is created in the background for you. Your seed phrase is all created in the background. It's all stored locally on your phone. It's secured away in the same way that all the other magic wallets are now kind of created on device. And you see the content, and you can load it with Apple Pay or load it with Google Pay. You can put fiat into your wallet, and you can transact right then and there. And what's critical about all of these things is everything works in a decentralized manner. Obviously, the on-ramp, the actual fiat to crypto exchange, that has to happen through a centralized exchange method. We don't actually control that. It's third party we integrate in the system. But that goes into your Web3 wallet, decentralized, non-custodial wallet, and you're completing your transaction. You're swapping on a decentralized exchange in a fully decentralized manner, but everything just feels in a far more controlled, far more manageable opportunity. And that, actually, this kind of leads me on to a point slightly off the track that we're talking here, but I actually talked about this well before we started VALA. I did a speech at Solana Breakpoint at the end of last year. And it was in a point where I was in a bit of transition. I was doing some work for Solana Foundation, but I transitioned out of Amulet, my previous DeFi company. And I didn't quite know what the subject was that we should talk about. And I talked in the end about the $1 trillion opportunity. The $1 trillion opportunity inside crypto is to own the whole chain, to take responsibility of users, to take the element of do your own research slightly out of it, but to allow people to have an environment which they can do their research from a group of content creators that are able to provide information, and then you're able to make your own decision and also able to transact right then and there. And I do really truly believe that this is the on-ramp into the crypto, this is the on-ramp into DeFi, this is the on-ramp into Web3 gaming and beyond. And even it's actually on that note of beyond, I do believe that this is a way for content creators in general to truly find a true social value, to be able to make significantly larger amount of income than they would normally on traditional platforms.
Wow, that's great. I'm looking forward to checking it out, and I've seen some pictures. And you mentioned a little bit about your history working with Solana Foundation. At what point did you actually start building VALA, and maybe you can sort of give a picture of where it's at right now, because I know this is something that's
Sure.
huge and can be built over decades.
So we started building back in March of this year. It was actually an idea that my co-founder Rad had back in October of the year before, and he started working. He's a technical co-founder. He started building out the cross-chain exchange that powers in the background of VALA. And when we met up in kind of February time, trying to kind of take that to market, we recognized that actually the world doesn't need another exchange. You know, there's plenty of exchanges out there, centralized, decentralized, you know, cross-chain, not single chain. You know, there is a lot going on. What people need access to is how to even get to those in the first place, how to learn about them, how, you know, what they are. You know, VALA is as much a product for Binance and Uniswap. All the exchanges have just gone out of my brain. Uniswap or any of the others that are out there, to explain about their product as it is for you know, a user to learn about these opportunities and to take those extra steps into the ecosystem. So yeah, so we started in March in earnest, down this line in terms of understanding the consumer part and the problem that we wanted to fix. We were joined by an incredible third co-founder, Rebecca Kaider, has some amazing background in consumer marketing and crypto combined. And then we built out the team from experts from Binance, from TikTok, from OKX, Coinbase, Amazon, others. We've got about 12 in the team now working on the project full time. Around 50% of those are developers. And so the actual product itself is due to be released in closed beta in September time. And right now we are so next week we go towards depending when this video comes out, it might be in the next couple of days. We're on Swissborg Alpha Pad with our first kind of coming out of the background raise. So we're really excited about that.
That's amazing. And yeah, I would love to dive into that a little bit more on the Swissborg, but I wanted to touch again on the experience that you talked about with your team. Obviously having a technical co-founder, I think is very important. But also when you're building a social app, you can't be too technical, because you need to have that virality factor, and you need to understand the non-technical users. Because of course, most of the users are going to be people that probably have, hopefully new entrants, not a lot of idea about the intricacies of crypto, and never mind DeFi and more advanced stuff. But how can you make it so that they don't get confused? Like the problem that you mentioned in the beginning about, okay, now you have to go through these 10 steps to figure out how to buy this asset. Well, the developers of the platform need to understand that mindset, make it as easy as possible for onboarding and for retaining people on the platform, so they want to come back and check out new information every day.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think UX and UI has a huge part to play in that. And I really put this down to, we've got an incredible head of product at VALA, Whitney. She has this incredible background in consumer products and has been able to really drive home the simplicity of the UX in order to do that. That is the first step in terms of this. Actually, probably that's the second step, actually, if I'm being honest about it. I think the first step is telling people about it, getting people to find out about it. And that's where we're joined by incredible advisors that link us out into the industry, but also the wider influencer background. So we really straddle that world between Web3 and Web2. Like, we're really focused on Web3 right now. We know that this is in the up, we're in the bull market again, thank God. And we've got this opportunity, especially around the meme culture, to really stretch our legs and show what the platform can do. But we're also cognizant of the fact that, and we talked about this earlier, that we're on this roller coaster. Like, as soon as the roller coaster starts to pitch down in crypto world, how do we ensure that we still are able to deliver our promise of bringing more people into the industry? And that comes from Web2. Web2 happens all the time. Our industry seems to be like every 2 years, like we decide whether or not we're getting out of bed. But the in Web2 world, we've got this consistent access to users and consistent access to content, and it's about the type of content we start putting through or pushing on the platform. So we kind of see content verticals as like stages in our growth. So we're starting with crypto and Web3 as our first opportunity in the first stage, and we're probably going to migrate into gaming as our next stage and vertical and growth. And then there will be more tertiary and more home-based opportunities and generational wealth creation and that sort of stuff. That is an opportunity for us next.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great strategy, because although I feel like this type of application is poised for the masses, hopefully to wake them up and to get a better sense of financial literacy and get involved in potential opportunities to further themselves, it of course is going to start with the people that are already here, sort of assisting in that, the meme coin communities and people that are already in crypto. I think it's a great starting point, but would be great to break out of that cycle where, there's always volatility in the markets, and if it's down, people are discouraged. But this mainstream social applications where people are communicating and also trying to get ahead, that's always happening. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out, Rupert. And
I mean, we see it as that there is always going to be an undercurrent or a there is an element of our platform that's always going to be people are trying to sell a token, right? And they're trying to push this token or one another. And look, content creators share in the exchange on the platforms. So it's in their best interest to make sure that people are transacting through the platform. But there's alternative ways to transact through the platform. I was talking with a content creator actually just before coming here about his coaching business and how we will be able to in the future be able to schedule meetings with him, or he will be able to sell his digital content directly through videos. And this is the wider pool. This is the wider opportunity that we have well beyond crypto, because there's a lot of these people that are quite happy to transact with crypto. We actually met through a Bitcoin group, but he is a coach in a totally different industry, and yeah, he wants to have the opportunity of talking to a community or talking to a new community in a totally different way. And so that is what VALA provides for people like that too.
Yeah, I think that's very important with the amount of independent content creators right now. Not just the fact that when they create content on traditional platforms like YouTube, the amount of earnings over the past years keeps dwindling down, and the platform keeps taking a bigger cut, and you're creating the same amount of content, but you're getting less value out of the same type of content, even when your audience is growing. Not only that, but what you mentioned there about the coach, say he's doing something on Instagram or TikTok, you always have to send it to a third party and add all these extra steps in to actually do the transaction. How can we simplify that? Where it's like you see the video and then it's like Amazon level. You click it and all of a sudden you've scheduled a call and paid for it within 10 seconds. I wish we could come up with something like that, and I'm hoping your team can build something that makes it that easy.
Yeah, well, look, it's not a straight path, these things, but I do believe that we're building the right team in order to execute on that. It's like you said, the disciplines within inside the team, we have to be strong and technical. We have to be super strong on marketing. I have to pull everybody together and help us forge a way through this. And also you have to back all the kind of naysayers that are out there. There is significant amounts of people who are very much at the stage that social and app layer is the future in crypto right now. Mm-hmm. But for as many people that are for it, there are as many people are against it, and you have to really battle through that. But that's the same in every single startup that I've ever been a part of. And touch wood, they've all been successful to different levels, and I'm still forging a way through the no's and the dislikes.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So I know that there would be a lot of people that are interested in this and trying it out. And you mentioned there about part of the next steps is with this Swissborg launch. Can you tell me about that more and how I could get involved with it?
Sure. So we go live, which is next Wednesday, and forgive me while I just check my diary for the actual date on what actually next Wednesday is, given that this video, I'm not sure when it's going out. Next Wednesday, the 4th of September. And I think it goes live at 2 p.m. Central European Standard Time. And that launch is obviously a raise that we're doing on Swissborg, and I can give you a link, Ashton, in the show notes. People can connect through onto that one if they want to. We're obviously happy to do a special offer for anybody who comes through this video. So I'll give you a special link for that one to give a little thumbs up to everybody who watches and comes through. But the key thing about this Swissborg Alpha Pad is that we're launching it to a closed community of Swissborg users, which is great. Everybody's KYC through there, everybody, and they've got a very strong, dedicated community of over 100,000 active monthly users out of their 850,000 user base. So it's really strong, really active, and that's really exciting. But what that does for us is it builds out our initial group of beta testers. Now, along with that, we've been launching our questing campaign. So a little Valanaut next to me. If anybody wants to become a Valanaut, by all means, go to our Discord or our Twitter, join the community and complete some of those questing campaigns. you'll be earning fuel points there, and fuel points convert into VALA token as well. So we are doing what a lot of companies do, but importantly for us, what VALA Noughts are for us more than anything else is the opportunity to test the app and tell us what's wrong. Tell us what you don't like about it and what should be better, so that we can create something in a very closed community that is significantly better before we get it out there into the open community. So that's really what our focus is, and with the growth of this, and getting us to our next stage as a business.
That's amazing. I'm looking forward to it, and I can leave a link to that to the viewers, and I'm personally interested in seeing the next stages, and I want to try it out as early as possible. And as a content creator, I love it, and whatever we can make it easier for the end user to interact or get that knowledge across, short form video and interaction in less steps, I'm all for. Yeah.
I mean, with you, it's a great example, actually. So if you're talking with meme communities, or you're talking with, live tokens, this is another way that you're able to actually get your content out there and actually benefit from the value. Obviously, as a YouTube creator, like, you're not really getting a huge amount from your subscription. You already talked about the dwindling amounts on that. And for you, I know you're always out there trying to find alpha and trying to find other projects and trying to help benefit your life and your generational wealth. And so we're providing that to content creators as a platform, but we're also providing it to the users that watch that content and believe in it and believe what that content creator is saying. So it's a real win-win platform for everybody.
Definitely. And with those VALA knots that you mentioned, that astronaut's super cute there, by the way, behind you, for those that are watching on the video. Is that the main community that's on Discord, or what are the main social communities in where people can go and chat to learn more?
Yeah, Twitter and Discord are our main communities. Connect to either. Obviously, you're welcome to fire me a message directly as well on Twitter. I try and be as active as possible. If I can't get back to you, then Discord and the crew back there are really the most connected and plugged in. I try and get in there once a day at least. But the community is everything. Yeah, that's really important to everything that we do.
Sounds great, Rupert. Well, thank you so much. I'm super excited to see the next stages of VALA. I can leave a link to the socials that you mentioned in the show notes, as well as the Swissborg launch. All the best for the upcoming launch. And I know that this is just the beginning for the platform. And I hope something like this can get as big as TikTok and Instagram and provide more fair and just ways for content creators and for end users to get involved, interact more directly in a more decentralized way. So all the best, and let's definitely follow up in the near future.
Well, thanks very much, Ashton. And just to round off on that, with Facebook taking up about 2 billion of the world's population in terms of connected users into that, if VALA was able to obtain, 1%, 0.1% of that, that would be a significant sized platform, and it would make a significant shift the amount of users that are inside crypto. So I, like you, I'm very bullish and very hopeful of attaining to any of those sorts of numbers. But you know what? You got to be in it to win it, and that's exactly what we're building, and that's what we're swinging for the fences with. So thanks very much for having me on. I really appreciate it.